What up? George is right beside me. Oh, smack to the face. Anyway, we're here to talk about UFC Fight Night 30.
And look, we can't even front. Us folks here on the East Coast who don't have, or who have Comcast, we weren't allowed to watch the fight.
Yeah, we sat there and we scrolled through the fucking,
we could have watched it if we felt like watching it in Mexican and paying for it.
Yeah, I wasn't doing that.
No, neither was I.
Yeah, and I wasn't going to watch that shit on some fucking monitor or anything, because to us, it was going to be it wasn't going to be the most exciting card, but it ended up being a very, like, crazy card. We'll start with, the catchweight fight that became a catchweight fight, between John Lineker and Phil Harris. Lineker did what he had to do, TKO, to the body with punches and knees and flying elbows and plates to the head and whatever the fuck you might call it. But, I think that wasn't on everybody's radar.
Nope.
In the middleweight fight, you had, this was interesting because you had Masoki going against who you were saying. Sakara.
And Sakara is a known striker, a good striker, a boxer. And he got outboxed, and then he got tapped.
Yeah. He got outboxed. He got beat at his own game in the first round. And right there, flags started going up because you're thinking, okay, he's a boxer and he's getting outstricken.
I'd say outstruck, but you know how they talk.
Outstricken. No, he was seriously getting outstruck, and then once it went to the campus, you knew there was nothing he was going to have for dude.
Where'd it go?
It went to the campus. Forget the
Did you say canvas or campus?
No.
Because I'm pretty sure you said campus.
No, it'll go to the campus when we talk about NCAA football.
Wow.
I said canvas. But when I edit this shit, I'll go, oh wow, I did say canvas.
It sounded like you said, because I'm going to say you
canvas.
Yeah.
Let me take another swig of this coffee while you continue to tell everybody what the fuck we're talking about.
We were attempting to tell you about the fight night that happened last night. So.
But, no, it went to the canvas and everybody knew that guy doesn't have any type of ground game. So it was over. Now,
I'm hot.
Probably the biggest winner, I think the biggest winner came from, Norman Park defeating, John Tuck. And and the only reason being is because he did it, he got a decision and everything, but it's probably the biggest win of his career. Do you agree, George?
Sure.
I
can't even.
That's what George says because he doesn't know who the fuck Norman Park is. No. I don't know a lot about Norman Park, but I know that this is probably his biggest win.
Good.
So I'm going to front like I know a lot about
him.
Good.
So that means maybe next time when you fight, we can actually watch you.
Yeah. But, congratulations.
Yeah.
Now, this is where shit started getting strange and kind of going into the fucking twilight zone.
And this is if you have the interwebs, you can go to MMA Junkie and actually watch the video highlights, which is what we had to do. So we're pairing the video highlights with what we've read. And, this is, I guess, our analysis on the last 3 fights of the night. Yeah, Jimmy Manua. This was just really, really strange.
It was very strange. Was fighting Ryan, Jimmo, Himmo, whatever you want to say it. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well,
are you sure?
No, but something in his left leg went no mo.
Jimmo was doing what he always does, and that's try to drop bombs and, whatever. And the problem was his opponent was walking through that shit and able to do it. And he hit him with, what was it, a knee, and it hit him to his head, and he stumbled back.
Being Jimmo. Jimmo gets hit in the head with a knee. He stumbles back, tries to regain. He bounces once, bounces twice, and then something in his leg goes.
Now, when I'm looking at it, they're saying it's a leg injury or whatever. It looked like
an Achilles.
It looked like an Achilles, or as my friends would say, an Achilles. That nigga Joe Rogan don't know what he's talking about, man. That motherfucker busted his Achilles. That's what it looked like. And why it looked like that is because he bounced, and he bounced again, and he looked like he kind of went like this and grabbed towards the bottom of his leg. It didn't look like he grabbed the knee, just to me. I mean.
And the other thing is it's not like anything buckled. He was in a straight line. So, if you've ever seen somebody go down with an Achilles injury, you're running in a straight line, everything seems fine. You plant or you jump, and it just goes, and they go down. It's just, there wasn't a knee going in or out, an ankle didn't go in or out. It's an unfortunate injury, and we hope it's not his Achilles, as some people say.
Glad you got this shit right.
But it's a nasty injury because that shit rolls all the way up in your calf. You got to get it reattached. You're in a boot for months. You can't really do anything. And then here's the thing. The mental part of that, because next time that dude goes to plant to throw a punch, he's going to hold his breath. Yeah. So it's going to be that mental aspect, if that's what's wrong.
And another thing that made me think that it could possibly be that, and maybe it's not, is your knee goes out from that. You're like, ow, you can let he fell right to the ground.
Yeah, it's like he got shot. It's like the DC sniper went
boom. Great. Hey, let's move on to the next fight. Now, this was the lightweight fight, or if I would say the flightweight fight. It's too early in the morning to do this shit. Ross Pearson versus Melvin Gillard. Ross Pearson versus Melvin Gillard. Ross Pearson versus Melvin Gillard. It ended up kind of like George and I had called it, actually.
Fast and furious, lots of action back and forth, and then somebody got a little too frisky with the knees.
Now, Pearson, hits Gillard, takes him down, flips him, takes him to the ground. Gillard, being very athletic, escapes, gets up, gets Pearson against the cage. Okay? He throws one knee, and it hits Pearson in the side of right here. And you can see Pearson is kind of trying to get his balance, but his hand has not yet touched the canvas, or the canvas, and his knee is not on the canvas. Now, at that point, Gillard launches another knee. Now, this is one thing that is a fact. Two facts. One, Pearson's hand was on the canvas when Gillard's knee finally hit his head. Mm-hmm. But when Gillard launched that knee, it was not. So he's looking and he's just boom and reaction throwing the other knee, and Pearson's kind of coming down, like falling down to almost gain his balance. I don't even think he was trying to make the play like, hey, I'm going to put my hand down so he can't throw this knee. I just think he was trying to catch his fucking balance. He was off balance. But whatever the case is, it sucks for both guys because it ends up being a no contest. In my opinion, it sucks more for Gillard because he was fighting his fight. Like we said, if he uses his athleticism and attacks him, he could end up winning this fight. And that's just what was happening. And now it's a no contest. So I don't know what
and the point that Kevin brings up is really good because I don't know how that rule works. If I'm on the mat and you go to throw the knee and I see you are, and then I put my other point down because what's it, 3 points?
Yeah.
So if you have 3 points of contact on the mat, 2 knees and a hand, 2 hands and 1 knee.
If you're a human tripod.
Right. You cannot get hit in the head with a knee. So, like he said, now, if my hand is going down and my hand hasn't hit the mat yet and you throw the knee, how does that work? Right.
Because he has already launched the knee, and at the time, in his mindset, he's thinking, I'm throwing another knee because he does not have 3 points now. Now, by the time, in that split second, by the time the knee catches him in the head, it's gone down. Now, maybe you have to think, okay, he's in a position where by the time the knee hits him, he's going to have 3 points now. It's just fucked up.
Is it 3 or is it 2? Might be 2. Whatever. Put it this way. What we're getting at is however many points you need, because I think it's only 2.
Believe me, someone will correct us.
Right. They'll tell us. Well, no matter.
You two monkeys don't know shit about MMA.
Yeah, whatever. But my question to you is how's a ref supposed to rule that? Whatever how many points, if I put my second or third point down at the same time or before he throws or right after he throws his knee, but my hand gets there before the knee hits, then what?
Yeah, I mean, you could see when Joe Rogan was commentating, he right off the bat, his initial reaction was, it was legal. They're legal. And then when they did it in slow motion, he's saying, oh, his hand is down. But
how's Melvin supposed to do that? Excuse me, I'm going to throw a knee now. Can you?
Right. Good. It's just like, you could see, it was just this little, it just was a fucked up situation. And it's a fucked up situation for, I think more so for Melvin Gillard. Even though I'm a huge fan of Ross Pearson, I just think, it ends up as an NC, no good for anybody.
Well, here's what'll happen. They'll stitch his head up back together and then they'll fight again in a couple months.
Yeah. And why not? And I'll like to see that fight because it was a good fight until that point. Now, the main event fight was Lyoto Machida versus Mark Munoz. And, that went exactly like we said it would go. Machida might be one of the most underestimated fighters in the UFC. And he did that shit quick. And now, you got a lot of fucking mix up in the middleweight division because, you know what, I mean, Munoz is one of your better middleweights. And you know what the amazing thing about that leg kick was? Is his glove was up there. So he was like, he just is like an old karate man. Karate. I mean, motherfucker's like karate man. I like that motherfucker Machida, man. Seriously, I karate the fuck out of you, dude. Hiya! Through the glove. Put your glove up. Hiya! You're out, nigga.
You can't even get it was his foot, though. It wasn't his hand.
You will
if blow out a hip.
No, I will blow out a hip. And nuts would be rolling on the floor if I tried to put a fucking foot up by your head. But anyway.
That's pretty much what we said was going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean.
And he did it. I mean, he kicked him right upside his head. And the thing that kills me is he's standing over him. He doesn't hit him. And he's talking about how great of a sportsman he is. But there's another guy from Brazil who does the same thing. And he gets crucified for doing that after he destroys his opponent. And I'm just like.
It's if you like the fight, if you don't. Because Anderson Silva and Lyoto Machida have a lot of, are very similar about how, bowing and going over to make sure the opponent's all right. Like you said, one person gets crucified for it, the other one, people talk very highly.
Real quick, before we switch over, what do you think of the new Ultimate Fighter that's coming up? It's Ultimate Fighter Brazil, it's Chael Sonnen versus Wanderlei Silva. And on top of that, so what do you think just about that off the top? And then I got another question to follow up. Mm-hmm. So what's your overall impression of that pairing?
I'm just wondering how they're going to get security for Chael Sonnen. That's my only question for it. Because he's talked so much shit about the Brazilian community. And you know what? Whatever. I mean, now I think the protection he can get is if he gets, go ahead. I think that might be your second question.
No.
I think what can help him there, and people could maybe like him, because Wanderlei's an American boy now. He's from Brazil, but he lives here.
In Vegas.
He lives in Vegas. He's an American boy right now. And the Brazilian community is very much aware of that. If Chael Sonnen can somehow get Anderson as a coach, and there's been talk about that, right?
Right. That was my next, so you're right on that. Okay. But the thing I don't understand is how is Chael Sonnen, with all the shit that he's talked, not just about the country, the people, but the fighters that these kids, because they're going to be Brazilian fighters, right? Because that's what the Ultimate Fighter Brazil is.
Right. Yeah.
How's he going to convince those kids to believe him? In all seriousness,
I know.
Here's a guy who's talked shit.
Can't speak the language.
He's talked shit about both Nogueira brothers. He's talked shit about Anderson, and he's talked shit about your country.
Yeah.
So these three fighters alone, there's going to be somebody in that camp who just absolutely adores and grew up and wanted to be like the Nogueiras or not Chael or Anderson. And here you are talking cash shit. How's he going to convince these kids how's he going to convince these kids that he's their coach?
I want to see how it's going to go down since you're on that subject. I want to see how it goes down once they select the fighters.
Right.
No, me not fighting in your camp.
Dude, here's the thing. What's going to happen when one of them just goes, has a sharpened up toothbrush and fucking shanks the shit out of Chael?
Right. He's like,
because there's their opportunity.
My appendix, huh? Yeah.
There's their opportunity. And if it's in Brazil, they're going to be like, that was justifiable.
Yeah. Yeah. The guy will be the fucking national hero.
Right. Because the guy next to him will be the judge. He's like, you're cleared. I mean, he's stepping into some deep fucking water, and he's got an uphill battle, and the only way he's going to get through to these kids if he gets one of these Brazilian fighters to be help them.
It is going to, whatever the case is Dana White and Fertitta brothers are fucking some smart businessmen because
no, they understand they have a shit show, and now they've really turned it into a freak show because they have to find arch enemies to push and drive this thing. Right. And it showed no more than the Ultimate Fighter that people may or may not be watching now. And all I hear about it from other people watching is Ronda it's just a whiny little childish brat.
Oh, you could see it, like we said before, all over Twitter. Anyway, thoughts and comments below. George and I are fucking adios deuces. Adios deuces.